Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, lettuce and others. My next guest tonight is a New York Times best-selling author and the host of the podcast Revisionist History. He's just written a new book, Revenge of the Tipping Point, Overstories, Super Spreaders, and the Rise of Social Engineering. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Malcolm Gladwell. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a bit.
It has. When was I?
2016. 2016. Back before everything changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
been
were
a long
younger,
time.
more innocent back then.
You're a totally different man at this point. I got to imagine because you're a dad now.
I have two.
You have two. You're a double dad.
I have two girls.
You're dads now. Do you have the 10,000 hours in of dadding yet?
Yeah, but pretty close. We're getting there.
How old is your oldest?
She is, well, I got a toddler, 3 years old.
Then you definitely have. Yeah.
I put the,
How's the sleep?
I sleep actually surprisingly well. They sleep very well, my children. That's the best that can be said of them.
Oh, that's lovely.
Is that
Because you have a 3-year-old. I always like to say people who say terrible twos have never had a 3-year-old.
No, it gets worse.
Because they're just stronger now.
Yeah.
But attitudinally, it's even worse.
No, it is absolutely.
This is your 8th book right here. It's called Revenge.
No, that's
Sorry.
that's the
Here's
original.
the first one, right?
That's the
This is
first
one. Tipping Point. Tipping Point is the first one. The next one is Revenge of the Tipping Point.
Yeah.
I want to get to the tipping point and why it is so bent on revenge in just a second.
Yeah.
But, so here we go. Here's the bookend so far. All of them New York Times bestsellers up till now. I'm sure this one will be too. This one will be too. How would you describe a Malcolm Gladwell book?
Oh, wow. You know when you go to a dinner party or just a party and there's someone who traps you in the corner?
Yes. And buttonholes you with
my books
an obsession?
My books are the best version of that. So it's,
Is there a through line of the kind of things? Is it statistical? Is it sociological?
No, I like to, my books, I like to tell stories.
Okay.
And I like to think that they're stories you've never heard before in unusual combinations. So, this book has everything from a chapter on how weird Miami is to a long thing about why on earth Harvard has a women's rugby team to...
Why does Harvard have a women's rugby team?
You'll have to, what did Don Cheadle say to you when you asked him to explain? He said, you'll have to watch it, right? Well, you'll have to read it to find out.
So you're not here to talk at all. You're just here to sell paper.
No, I'm just, no.
We could just sit here in silence for 6 minutes while I hold this up, and Malcolm Gladwell would be fine.
I will say...
That would be it.
I will say this. It is surprisingly complicated to figure out what they do, and I think they're engaged in a nefarious, I mean that word seriously, a nefarious attempt at social engineering. They're trying to manage the proportions of the ethnic proportions of their school.
To raise them or lower them?
They're trying to keep a certain kind of traditional Harvardness in place. And if you do as they do and give an enormous admissions preferences to people who do things like sail or row, or you can see where I'm headed.
I know exactly where this is going.
You know where that's headed.
Yes,
I did answer your question.
Okay, there you go.
But telling, sort of unraveling how they go about doing that is actually quite fun, and so it's a full chapter.
So, again, let's go back to the framing device here. So, Tipping Point, huge hit, changed the world. Revenge of the Tipping Point.
We're back.
What does the revenge mean? Why is this an anti-tipping point? What does that mean?
No, it means that the first time around I was interested in all the wonderful things you can do with the laws of epidemics. And this time around, I'm older. I'm a little, not quite so chirpy and optimistic. It's revenge.
That's what I always thought of when I thought of Malcolm Gladwell.
Chirpy.
I go, I want to party with that dude. He seems like a lot of fun, baby.
I am actually, I'll defend myself by saying I'm an enormous amount of fun. But I am I am.
Good for you. Good for you. You got to stand up for yourself.
I am perhaps less cheerful than I was when I was. I wrote this book
Right?
when I was 35 years old. Have you gone back and looked at pictures of yourself when you were 35?
I try not to.
That's exactly my point.
Yes.
No one tells you this. No one tells you that you're 60. I'm 60.
Sure, I'm 60,
Yeah.
I am 60. I'm actually 60.
I'm actually 61. I lied. No one tells you that when you hit 61, as opposed to they tell you they're going to look back on your youth fondly. No. You look back with horror. Nobody wants to be 31. Disaster.
I wouldn't be in my 20s again for anything.
You were just talking about that.
anything.
Yes,
No,
yes.
absolutely.
No, exactly.
All my kids are in their 20s. I'm like, it gets so much better. It gets so much better.
Get through this.
Because you don't know, you're trying to do something, you don't know what you're doing.
you tell
yet.
them that by the
you're at the
time-
bottom of the pecking order. Everybody's mean to you. Just it'll get better.
Do you tell them that they should really wait for 60 for things to look up?
Oh yeah. Because when
That'll-
you're 60,
that'll cheer them up.
you don't give a damn about what anybody thinks anymore.
All bets are off.
Yeah, sure.
It is kind of an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed that.
Yeah. Do you think about death a lot?
No, I mean, not actively.
But it comes up.
Yeah. I mean, I like driving. And
And those guardrails are so low, and the cliff is so very high. And
well, Stephen,
what would it be like to fly? I think.
Stephen, now that I am a young parent, I have a minivan.
Oh, I know you do. I love this photo. We got this.
Oh, you had
from,
the-
we actually we
yes.
stole it from you. There's Malcolm Gladwell, Suburban Dad.
Suburban Dad. No one loves the minivan more than me.
What'd you say?
No one loves the minivan more than me. I drove it to my office the day I got it, and my coworkers came rushing. Then I love cars. They know this. Two of my coworkers came rushing out, and they were like, "Oh my God, Malcolm! In the entire time we've known you, we've never seen you so happy." The revolving door that you could just hit the button, it opens and closes. Right. I wish this was in some way connected to my book, but it's not. I feel like I shouldn't I have done something about the death of the minivan? Because it is dying, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah. For the next 6 months, every cocktail party I go to, people are going to be pulling stuff out of this.
Yeah.
It's called the Malcolm Gladwell effect. It's called the Gladwell cocktail party effect.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone calls it that.
I'm not fighting that.
And what's the one story I need to know in here so I can keep it? Because I don't have time to read your whole book. What's the one story?
You can just cut to the chase.
What's the one story?
I have a chapter on the way how we remember the Holocaust changed in the late 70s. People.
It's a cocktail party.
Okay. All right,
I'm not saying it's not an important conversation that we should be having and we should never forget. Furthermore, this is a cocktail party. Hey, you guys, can I make you a drink? You know what people don't remember about how the Holocaust was remembered in the 70s?
I don't
Where's
know.
everybody going?
No, I don't know anything.
We're going to watch Show Up.
I don't know anything about the kind of cocktail parties you frequent.
Okay. I heard that you're a fun guy, though. With your minivan.
There you are, off in Jersey somewhere. God knows what's happening.
I live in the New York tri-state area. Well, look, it's been great. So go ahead, finish, sorry.
What
You
story?
turned the cameras off a while ago.
What? No, I figured that.
Yeah, sure,
I mean,
of course.
we've been mailing it in for quite
It's
some
all
time.
going to be Cheadle. It's all
Yeah,
Cheadle,
no, it's
right.
Cheadle.
Yeah.
You did like 2 segments.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to be.
yeah.
Will you put it on YouTube at least?
What? This?
Yeah.
Sure.
That was so unconvincing.
Is there some? No.
Oh, is there something?
Is there something else
in the
that's
book?
in the book?
Yeah, I start the book with the story of the great Los Angeles bank robbery epidemic. And
When was that?
early 90s, there were 2 guys who were Crips who, in the space of a year and a half, they set a world record for robbing banks. 175 banks in LA in a year and a half. Wow. They're 21 and 20 at the time, and they're geniuses. And they're a big innovation. They innovate. Their big innovation is the way to rob 175 banks in a year and a half is not to do the dirty work yourself. And so they go into high schools and they recruit kids, and they give them like semi-automatic weapons. And they park down the street, and they take the kids, like, they commandeer like school buses and stuff, And they take them to these banks. They just say, just go in there, just go crazy. They have go in kamikaze is what they called it. And then come out with the money, get in the school bus, and we'll just follow you. And don't even think about trying to take off with the cash. And the kids are 16, so they're not, they're terrified. Casper and Sea Dog are their names, and they're extraordinary characters. And the book opens with the story on how on earth, and they set off an epidemic within LA, and everyone's copying Casper and Sea Dog. Did you live in LA in the early 90s?
No.
Okay. Had you lived in LA in the early 90s, you would have been aware of this, and there was also a carjacking epidemic in LA at that time. And the people thought they were separate phenomena, but they weren't, because if you're gonna hit 175 banks in a year and a half, you need a lot of getaway cars.
Wow.
So the carjacking is actually a lot of Casper and Sea Dog and the people who are copying Casper and Sea Dog. Can you tell that story at a cocktail party? Does that work?
100%. I can tell that story.
It's going to go over big.
Yeah, I was just talking to Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Revenge of the Tipping Point is available now. It's Malcolm Gladwell, everybody. We'll be right back.